This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to ACABOR, Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. I had to think about that. Shirley, if you could please lead us in the pledge.
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. We'll just do a quick roll call of the board members that are here, and then we'll lay down some ground rules. Myself, Chris Dunnigan here. Kenyatta?
Here.
Sharon?
Here.
Joe? Brian?
Here.
Shirley?
Here.
Debbie?
Here.
All right. Okay, so we're all remote. I will end up muting everybody for each applicant when they come up to present their application. We'll unmute them. We'll let them present the application to the board. The board will ask any questions or make any comments about that application. Once everybody from the board has had a chance to speak, we'll open it up for public comment. If you do have a comment, appreciate it putting it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll open it up and let people speak as well. So our first application for the night, Box Bistro Sign Plan. You're on mute. There you go. I unmuted you.
Hi, I think you're not a big classical music fan, the way you pronounce Bach.
You're accurate.
By the way, the owner, Mr. Bach, is not related to the great Johann Sebastian Bach, but maybe he is, I don't know. Anyway, I'm requesting approval for a new sign insert for Bach's Bistro, a new restaurant at Westro Plaza. This is only for the replacement of the existing acrylic insert. The light box is the original light box, and it's in good working order. There's no other work involved, no electrical or other trades are involved in this, just switching out the insert. And also on the little insert on the pylon sign on the road, we're also replacing that. I should mention Mr. Bach. I believe he's with us. I don't see him here. I don't know how that works. He's signed on. If you have any questions, he designed this sign. So if you have any questions for him, I'm sure he would be happy to answer.
I have one quick question. It may just be the printing. The letters look to be red, and then there's the alternating what I think is red-blue color, or is that red-orange?
It looks to me more on the orange side. Orange, blue. It's basically a filler. Mr. Bach said he designed this, so.
Okay. All right. I'll open it up to the board for any questions, comments. Kenyatta? Sharon?
No questions.
Joe? Joe, I can't hear you. Joe, I can't hear you you came off mute. No questions. I still can't hear you. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you there. So, all right, Brian, any questions, comments?
Yeah, a couple of things. So this is going where the Bistro Filipino is right now.
Yes, that was the Philippine restaurant. Yeah.
Right. And so I think looking at this before, I guess everything is kind of a darker background here. And now this is going to be a white background, right?
Well, originally, the architect, when we built this building 25 years ago, the Architectural Review Board, I don't know if any of the present members were there at the time, they wanted them all uniform. And in fact, they even wanted that color. But this side happens to still have most of the green, but in the past, the last 5 signs we've changed, and each one's a different color. So gradually we'll get to the point where there'll be fewer and fewer with this dark green background.
Right.
So, but you are right, it's a darker background than the replacement.
Okay.
I think it's more cheery and it's more interesting in color, and I'm glad to be able to do this. There are about 5 or 6 of them already out of 15 or 16 stores that are even more than 5 or 6, I think, that are colorful with white backgrounds and so on.
All right. That's the only question I had other than Thai and Polish, really?
Okay, that's a subject for another discussion, I think. Mr. Bach is married to a lady from Thailand.
Uh-huh.
You are all privileged, if I may say, to probably be the first Architectural Review Board to view a sign based on a fusion of Polish and Thai food.
I have no doubt that is the case.
So very rare.
Yeah.
I actually do have one question. So looking at the sign, is there a reason why that orange and blue detail is not like centered? Like it couldn't be centered somehow?
You mean centered with the box? It looks to me, it looks like it's centered between Thai and Polish. That's probably what he had in mind. But I hear I don't know if you center Thai and Polish. Am I mistaken, or does it looks like it's centered between Thai and Polish? Don't you agree?
I don't know. Like I feel like something with that bottom half should probably be shifted a little bit
to the right.
It, but if I'm not sure if it's just my eye.
No, I think you're right. I mean, looking at Thai, if you look at the first letter, the T, it's closer to the left end than the H in Polish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Perfect way. So if we push over the Polish and then extend that bar, maybe, so it'll be more centered with the box. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like it just feels like it's a little bit off to me.
I agree with you.
Well, Polish and Thai and Polish are very different. They're Polish is a lot longer.
It's a little longer also, but I guess he'll play with it and adjust. He could adjust the size of the font, I guess. If you give us the approval and permission to make those adjustments, we would, I'm sure Mr. Bach would be happy to.
Yeah, he did actually. You can see the Thai has stretched more than the Polish, so there was already an attempt to do that. But
oh yeah, you're right. I see that. Yeah.
4 letters to 6 is a little hard to make.
This is true.
Just illustrating how difficult putting Thai and Polish together are.
Yeah. I'm open to, Mr. Bach is open to suggestions about how to accomplish that, a greater symmetry there.
I have a question.
I also noticed for the first time, bistro is a little larger than Bach's.
It's way bigger. It's a whole different, but I was looking at that and that's the thing one of the things I didn't like about the sign was that, but looking at it and thinking about it, it's hard to have a choice. It gives a dynamic to the sign that one is bold and the other's less bold. If it was just the two words exactly the same, it would be more static. And
true.
So,
I mean, I guess it's interesting because I would think you would want to like push the name more than the bistro and make that bigger, but that's just my opinion. Well,
that's a complicated question. my philosophy was always to not emphasize someone's name, but if it's a pizza shop, the word pizza should be more prominent.
Right, exactly. I agree. Bistro.
I would have recommended to him to make box smaller.
And a different font even possible.
And then make bistro.
Maybe a different font would make it look better.
Something like that. So now we created a dilemma, how to get approval to get Mr. Bach going here and to have it fabricated.
Well, I have a question also about the second row.
Yes.
It's hard to read because of the color contrast. Those two symbols, I think it's a rosette, and it looks orange on a blue background, which in those two colors fight each other for dominance.
That's interesting. It is very small here. At least keep in mind you're looking at a small scale. When the whole thing is blown up, it may be
they
more
are also
visible.
not equidistant from the edge of the sign.
That's true too.
Yeah, no, they're not.
I'm going to have to send Mr. Bach back to school for this. So, well, that, when it's fabricated, they would make a point to tell them to make sure everything is centered properly.
Yeah, you'd think there's a sign company produced this drawing, right? The sign installer.
No, I think Mr. Bach made it, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, okay.
Yeah. Is that right, Rich? You've made this sign?
Yeah, very quickly.
Quickly. Yeah.
Is the color supposed to be orange and blue? Or is it supposed to be red and blue and it just printed funny though?
The printer kind of to mess up the colors.
So when we see orange here, are you intending it to be red?
No, it's supposed to be a little darker.
The application says orange, but it's weird because I feel like you don't really get a sense of what that color is going to look like.
So you're saying it's supposed to be darker like the letters because the band should match the letters in terms of color? Well, the letters are much darker, richer. I see. Mm-hmm. That'll help.
I put this thing because I want to feel between names, Thai and Polish, because when there'd be nothing there, it'd be like empties.
Yeah, it's a graphic. I mean, it's a good idea, concept.
Yeah.
Debbie, I don't think we got to you. Any questions, comments?
No, I think you're covering it.
I would say that the least tampering so that we could do that you will be able to know what it will look like. If we push the Polish to the right, first of all, make sure everything's centered, everything's the same distance to the end, and then just adjust it. In other words, we could represent that. We would adjust it so that it's more symmetrical and extend the band maybe all the way across from between Thai and Polish, but make sure it's centered with the whole box.
Yeah, I don't think you want to extend the band. I think you want it to float like it's a stick or whatever it is.
Either way,
you could stretch it. You could stretch it to make up a distance a bit, if you had to.
Yeah.
I think really you just want to put it together so the balance is a little better.
So if we push over the Polish, then we can push it more to the right also a little bit. So it'll be more centered in the box.
I think you need to center justify that line, right? Have it equidistant from the edges and the banner be centered. I do agree with Brian. I don't think you need to make the banner bigger. It kind of...
Right. Yeah. Fine. So I think I could accomplish it by pushing the Polish over and then just push the band a little bit to the right and try and get it as close as possible centered in the box.
And
I
adjust
don't know if you might want to put a black line around the band too, just like it is around the letters, a thin black line.
That's interesting to define it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe to define it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
It's a
that's
thought.
easy enough to do. That's easy enough to do. I think I
Well,
agree.
then you would tie it into the Thai and Polish also.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said having that black border around would tie it into the Thai and Polish, because right now it's just kind of, you got this orange and blue that don't really tie into anything on there.
That's true. It will give more continuity, more flow between. Yeah.
right. It'll be the same orange though, as Mr. Bach was pointing out, that it was, it'll be richer. It'll tie in that way visually because it'll be the same color.
Well, let me ask you a question, because on the application it says red letters and black smaller, and then it says the letters below, it says orange and blue. So is it red and black, or orange and blue, or is it both? Like it does distinctly say red letters and it does distinctly say orange. So they can't be the same.
Rich, what's your, I don't know, you mean on the application form?
Yeah.
It's orange.
Page 4, number 10, right? It's saying red letters and black smaller, right? Which we see here. But then it also says an orange and blue logo line.
That's right. You're right.
Okay.
So if it's orange, it's not the same as that red. That's another completely different color.
Yeah. Yep. Correct. Yep. True.
So Rich, what
And
do
now
you?
we don't know what that looks like.
The colors, we can change it. If orange doesn't work, could be red.
Well, according to the application, it is what it says, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
So
they're not
I mean-
red. They're kind of orange, and the blue color, the boxes.
I mean, I would say, to be practical, if it wasn't, if this color, if he said red, but you would say you can't approve it now until you see it, then if I had the power, I would say leave it orange then.
Yeah.
If you're able to approve the orange. Now, the little symbol on the ends, what is that, Rich? The little symbols?
It's like Rosetta. This is from the graphics.
And are those the same colors, the same blue and orange as?
Right.
It appears to be.
I see. I mean, I don't see anything startling or clashing between the orange and the red. It may not be the best color choice, but it's, I mean.
Well, again, if you tied that border around it, it would at least tie it into something else, whereas right now it's not tied into anything.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I agree with that. Absolutely.
I think I agree with that too. For whatever reason, the blue and the orange doesn't bother me. It doesn't stand out as clashing, but I think Brian and Kenyatta are right. The border around there would be helpful.
Yeah.
We can add it.
I'm good with it.
Okay. Any other questions from the board or comments before open up for public comment? All right. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak on this application? If so, please unmute yourself and state your name. Hearing none, seeing nobody in the chat, public portion is closed. All right, so I think what we've got is, do we have a motion, or do we have a motion to approve with the modifications that the center line is justified, the bottom line is center justified, equal distance from the edges, and that there's a black border added around the orange and blue square banner in the middle.
I make a motion to approve with the conditions of justifying the banner and putting a black borderline like the letters around it, and just looking to balance the bottom words.
Mhm.
Adjust them just to make them balance a little bit better.
I'll second that.
Second, we'll do a roll call vote. Myself, yes. Kenyatta,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Joe, I still can't hear you, but I see that you saw yes. Brian?
Yes.
Shirley?
Yes.
And Debbie?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. Good luck with the new restaurant.
Thank you. We hope to see you all there. Opening
Yeah,
night.
Thai Polish, right? You got to try that out.
Thank you,
Thai
guys.
Polish.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
He gave his wife first billing at least.
True.
You know? Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Up next this evening is the filling station site plan. Who will be presenting this evening on that one?
Good evening. My name is Larry Toro with Civil Tech Engineering.
Good evening. Tell us a little bit about the application, what you guys are doing, what you guys are trying to accomplish.
Yes. The application is for an expansion of the parking lot. There's no physical improvements to the building itself or any signage or anything like that. It's just the business has been flourishing and he needs some additional parking, which he's adding in the rear of the property. There's some drainage facilities there now that will go underground and it'll allow him to add additional parking. Apparently there's some issues with parking along Route 9W, which causes some concerns and problems. So this will allow to get them off the road and get them into the parking lot.
Okay. So the only thing that's really happening here, just to summarize, is an expansion of the paved area for additional parking.
Correct.
Okay. All right. We'll open up to the board first. Kenyatta, any questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Okay. Sharon?
I was wondering if there was going to be lighting where the new parking will be.
There's none proposed. I suspect they're utilizing what's off of the building that's presently existing because there is some parking to the rear, existing parking now.
Yeah, just from the back of the restaurant right now, as we extend back with the parking, you can see one home right now. So, I'm just not sure of, any lighting at night, what time it would be still on for, and if it would bother that home.
Right.
And then also
discuss.
the look.
Right. If they were to provide, it would obviously have to be shielded light because it can't spill out onto adjoining properties.
So at this point, you're saying there's no additional lighting being added here at all. It's just the light that exists. Okay. And if there's any lighting that does get added to this, that will affect the, appearance and the community, that will come back to us to review in the future.
Right. Understood. I think because we would have to get obviously some input from the building inspector and planning board as well, including you guys. So, yeah.
Okay. Joe, any comments, questions? I can't. Oh. Brian, any comments, questions?
No, I don't know any.
Okay. Shirley?
Yes. I went there and I was lucky enough to get a parking space.
Yeah.
So I walked around the building and I did notice that it seems as though from the drawing, a lot of the landscaping is going to disappear to allow for more parking. And it looks like only the one row of bushes along the exit road will be left. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the parking is going to be expanding into what's right now. It's a low-lying area that collects the drainage. I don't really anticipate there's much landscaping within that drainage ditch.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of. When you drive in to the parking, there's a row of hedges that protects the diners sitting there at tables and umbrellas, sort of shielding the incoming traffic, just as there is a row of hedges on the road going out. And it doesn't look like they're in the new plan. It looks like they're going to maybe disappear. The one by the exit will stay, but the one at the entrance is, I couldn't find in the drawing.
No, not, no.
So you're
There's
moving
no,
all the landscaping that exists almost in order to make room for parking. Is that correct?
right, they're expanding the parking back. We're not showing any additional or new landscaping.
But you're taking away some landscaping. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Is there any way that we can keep some of the landscaping? That little corner garden or anything, or put something somewhere?
And this is on the entrance coming in, you're saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
On the right side.
yeah. I took some pictures, but I did not upload them.
Well, there is, between the curb line and the property line, there is an area there, about, I would say about 10 feet wide, where the plantings will remain that are there. And we can't do much disturbance in there because there's a wetland along that property line as well.
Right.
So Shirley, I just want to orientate myself from where you're talking. Are you referring to the line of bushes on the exit?
On the entrance and the exit, there's a line of bushes along the road. And in the back, there's also some bushes. I don't know if you could see that. And I don't see those bushes in the drawing either.
Well, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what was submitted to the board to review. But the entrance coming in on the existing, we're extending back along that property line in the front there. There's no improvements or changes going to happen. We're going to maintain the same road coming in, and it's just going to expand in the back of it. It's just an extension of that. So whatever plantings that you have in the front along that property line will remain as they are. There's no reason to do any clearing or changing in that area.
Well, these two rows of bushes are within the parking lot because they're on either side of the entrance and exit roads.
Well, we will lose some on the exit. You are correct, because there is some parallel angle parking on that side.
Yeah.
So okay, on the exit side. Okay. So in that corner, before it leaves the property, we could put some plantings in that corner to conceal that parking in that area.
That would be a good idea, I think, for the sake of the diners who're sitting around outside. You don't want to dine in a total parking lot. Has no appeal.
So we can put some in the front corner by the exit area.
Okay. Anything else there, Shirley?
It's going to maintain a little bit of its charm for dining outside.
Right.
It's a very unique place.
Yes, it seems to be popular.
And it's rooted in history. I mean, that's the original building is in an Edward Hopper painting.
I don't know that. Debbie, any comments, questions?
I think Shirley, I agree with Shirley on this one. I think it could use some kind of, I don't know, color, fluffing, some design. It has to be through landscaping. Got to find a place for it. It's looking a little industrial instead of like a dining resort, place. And it's a
Okay.
buffer to the road, it's a buffer to the parking lot. You know, there's dining outside.
Well, remember, everything going
I don't
on
know.
from the building to the front is not changing. The parking is going
I
in the
understand.
rear of the building.
I understand.
Okay.
I mean, if it can be done, it would be nice. It would also give it some kind of dimension and boundaries.
Okay.
Well,
But other than that, I know the parking's needed. So, you know, no disputing that. It's got to be where it's got to be, and
Right.
it's necessary. So,
So I agree. The parking is definitely needed. I do think that there's going to be probably even more people going from that Tallman parking lot right next door,
right.
probably over to the park while they go for a walk in the park. But hopefully they're grabbing coffee or at least having something from the restaurant at the same time. The other thought I had was that it's a big stop for a lot of the bikers from Manhattan coming in. And I was just wondering if there might be an opportunity to move some of the bike stands maybe deeper into the parking lot somewhere, just because even trying to pull into the parking when there's no parking lot with all the bikers there, you can't even pull into the restaurant. So there probably should be given some kind of thought as to how to route all the bikers that hang out there. Just a thought.
It's true. Sometimes they jam up the road.
Right.
Is that? Let's see if they can move them back further.
Good call, Sharon.
All right. I'm gonna open it up for public comment. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak on this application? If so, please unmute yourself and state your name. Hearing none, seeing nothing in the chat, public portion is closed. So just want to get the landscaping comment. There's two comments. One, any lighting will come back to us if any additional lighting goes up. Two, and Shirley, please, or anybody on board, please keep me honest. The exit row landscaping will try to be maintained as much as possible, and anything that's damaged or removed, we will damage in the construction will be replaced, and we will try to maintain and add as much landscaping there to split the patrons dining from the parking lot. Did I get that accurate, Shirley?
Yes.
Well,
Let me just.
you were talking about just doing the corner out by US by 9W. That's the only
Right.
place you were talking about putting planting.
Right.
Not on that little.
As far as maintaining as much of the existing landscaping that you just referenced is actually on the entrance side. Because
Yes.
we're not doing anything on that side. It's the exit side where we have some parking going in that area, and we'd have to provide some new screening in the front of that.
Right. Yep.
And what about the back by the dumpster? Is there some room there to have? Oh, you show it right there. Yeah, there's pieces. That's where you are doing your landscaping. There's no way to put any landscaping along the back of the parking, along the close to the wetlands.
Well, we're pretty much right along the wetland as it is. They are proposing a couple of red maples in that area.
Right. Okay.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve with the conditions stated?
I'll make a motion to approve as stated.
And I will second. I will do a roll call vote. Myself, yes. Kenyatta,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Joe, Yes. Brian,
Yes.
Shirley,
Yes.
Debbie.
Yes.
All right. You guys are all set. Thank you. And good luck with the improvements to the restaurant.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
All right. Last application for the evening is the Paul Davis sign plan.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maddie. I'm the owner of Paul Davis of Rockland County, and I'm representing an application for signage on the small building, which is part of the Blauvelt mini wall. We do restoration work, and that's basically it. I like to put 2 signs in front of the building and 1 on the side of the building.
From a color perspective, you've got black, silver, and gold on a white background, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'll open up to the board for questions. Kenyatta, any comments, questions?
No comments or questions.
Sharon?
Nope, no comments. Thanks.
Joe? Okay. Brian?
No.
Shirley?
I did have one concern, and I think it states it's covered by the information from the other boards, but for a business that does cleanup, it's a pretty dirty building. And there's a lot of sticky stuff all over it from previous signs. That's all going to be removed, I assume, to clean up the building appearance.
Oh, absolutely. So my plan is power wash the side of the building, and on the bottom of the building, the foundation is, the skirt of the building is all going to be painted white. And once I put the signs up, all that is going to be cleaned up. I agree with you 100%.
Okay, all right. That's very good. Okay, thank you.
And Debbie,
Sure.
Any comments, questions?
No questions.
One quick question. Any lights on this sign? It looks like on at least the side there's some down lighting. Is that
Yes,
all?
those are existing LED lighting, so I'm just going to utilize those.
Hours that they'll be on?
Probably when the sun sets down, they're going to be up till like 12, 1 o'clock, and that's about it at night.
Can we change that to be a little bit earlier, around, call it 10:30, 11?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Right. Open up for public comment. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak on this application? If so, please unmute yourself or send a message in the chat. Seeing none and hearing none, public portion is closed. All right. Do we have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, so the seconds. I will do a roll call vote. Myself, yes. Kenyatta,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Joe, Brian,
Yes.
Shirley,
Yes.
Debbie.
Yes.
All right. You all set? Good luck with the new business.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Before we depart, anything that anybody would like to discuss before we close out the meeting? No? I would like to comment that you all confused me by being in different places and being in different orders tonight. So thank you for that. I looked at it and I'm like, where is everybody? So it was quite a nice change. All right. Do you have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
In a second?
I'll second it.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you.